issue solved. It's because I had YouTube up on my TV. Oh my God, I'm such a novice at this. I'm going to majorly edit this. I'll have to. I don't normally edit live streams, but if this is going to be part for anyone to see after the fact, but it won't be going up tonight, that's for sure. Do you need me to... I'll start again trying to answer the question that I was asked, which was, how do I find supermarket shopping? Is it something I struggle with, or have I in the past? So I'd said that I did used to struggle with it, but I don't now. When I did struggle with it, it was usually when I was trying to make a decision over what to buy, and it would just get too much, and I would be in an absolute blind panic and pretty much dump my basket in a random aisle and just get out there as quickly as I could. But if I was shopping for binge food, then I didn't tend to have that same issue. I'd also said that I would often end up going to 4 or 5 different supermarkets in search of one particular flavour or brand, which is a massive waste of time and energy. And then I was going on to say that I don't struggle with it as much now, and that's because I write a list when I go to the supermarket, so I know exactly what it is that I want to get. I try to avoid aisles, or I did try to avoid aisles where I knew there might be foods I'd be tempted to get that I would then binge on. That's not an issue for me anymore because I have my binging more under control. But I always try to have a backup option. So if I can't get my first choice of an item, then I've got a second one on that list that I can usually get. And that stops me from getting that paralysing indecision that will then cause me to panic and just go out without having bought anything. I think the other thing as well is when you've got your shopping list, stick to it. So if your shopping list says milk and you know that you're supposed to be getting a particular type of milk, by which I mean semi-skimmed, blue top, you know, don't get to the milk bit and suddenly start questioning, well, do I really need to get the green top or the blue top? Should I get the red top or the green top instead? Don't question it. Go in and buy the milk that you're supposed to be buying, and yeah, I would say that is probably the most I could offer as a solution to that. Are there any other questions around that subject or anything else that anyone wants to discuss? There's 3 of you in this chat and me at the moment. So we are quite a small group tonight, which is absolutely fine by me. My iPad screen keeps going dark as if it's been inactive, so I have to keep touching it to make sure that it doesn't switch off and just end the stream. Someone says, no, that's helpful, thank you. I struggle a lot with it, but try and make myself keep things in the basket until the end and then decide, otherwise I never get past the first aisle. Yes, I know that feeling well. And if that is working for you, then I would say definitely keep doing that. I just had to do an awful lot of trial and error to find what worked for me. I used to be someone who, if I walked down a certain aisle which I knew had binge foods in it, the urge to buy them would be almost overwhelming, even though I knew that meant I was going to end up binging and purging. But certainly in my experience, it's something that has become much easier over time. Someone else says, I don't help myself when it comes to supermarkets. I feel compelled to go even when I don't need anything. I used to do that. But I stopped myself most of the time. In fact, no, most days I do go to the supermarket, but I do always have some things that I want to buy. If there is a day when I don't need to go to the supermarket and I catch myself heading in that direction, I stop myself and I turn myself around. Another thing I also found helpful before Apple Pay and such like was that if I knew I wasn't going out to a supermarket, I wouldn't take money or cards or a bag with me. Because I was somebody who I could be out on a walk and suddenly I would get a binge urge and off I would head to the nearest place where I could buy food. These days, that doesn't tend to happen, but that is again because I've got the binging more under control. One thing I did find helped, if you're somebody that will be out and then you'll think, oh God, I want to binge, and you'll go straight to the nearest place you can get food. I went on foot, and that gave me about 10 minutes or so in which I could change my mind. And it didn't change very often, but there would be times when I'd be halfway to the supermarket and I would be able to turn myself round and head back home without buying any binge food. Someone says, it gives me hope that it's improved for you. I have no self-discipline. It's not self-discipline. If it was that easy, eating disorders wouldn't be so complicated to recover from. Your brain thinks your body is in a state of starvation, and when it has access to food, it's going to want to get all the food it can because it doesn't know when the next opportunity is going to be available. And that's programmed into our DNA on a biological level, and it's not an easy thing to override, in my opinion. I have no scientific background, as I'm sure all of you know, but just in case, just chuck that disclaimer out. Someone says, and I seem to have to walk down nearly all the aisles, even if I need one or two things. Yep, I used to do that. I would go up and down every single aisle just to see what was there. And very often that is what would lead me to then binge, because I'd be buying stuff I hadn't gone in for, but that I saw and I really wanted. I found I had to be almost blinkered and just go down the aisles with the things that I needed and ignore the rest of them. And actually, it didn't take me very long at all before that became kind of my habit instead of going down every aisle. I honestly could not tell you the last time I went down every aisle in a supermarket. It's just not something I do anymore. Someone says, I don't think Instagram helps me following lots of food accounts and then wanting to impulsively go out and look at new things, so touring around all the supermarkets. I would say unfollow those accounts or mute them. I was somebody who, if I was scrolling on Instagram and this can still happen, if I see certain foods, that can trigger me to binge. So when I know I'm in that sort of danger zone, I don't look at those things. One thing I do, which is kind of the same, I guess, and actually I've only just realised, I look online at supermarket websites on a pretty much daily basis, and not just the one where I'm getting my online shop. Yeah. So all the things I said do apply to a physical supermarket, but when it comes to the online supermarket, I think I still have some work to do. And yeah, I can't believe I hadn't thought of that. Just goes to show though, I'm definitely not fully recovered. That's exactly how it is for me, Kaz, especially with reduced items and special offers. I tend to shop first thing in the morning, so there isn't really that much that's reduced. I suppose the way I would say you could maybe help to stop buying the reduced items is, okay, that M&S cake jar may have been reduced from £150 to 55. I might be exaggerating the prices, but not by much. That is 55 quid you are still spending that you would not otherwise have spent. So even if you are technically saving, oh God, I've given myself mental maths to do, £94? Yeah, even if you're technically saving £94, you're still spending 55, whereas if you didn't buy it at all, you'd be saving all your money. It's good to know I'm not the only online shopper of supermarkets. I think it's a little bit different for me in some respects because I do a food channel, so I kind of need to know what the new things are or what's coming out. But I have times during the week when I look at those things in particular, and those are times that I kind of set aside for that purpose, so that I'm not, sitting in bed at 2 a.m. unable to sleep and scrolling through images of food. I do still end up doing that sometimes, but when I do, it's usually the online supermarkets, or I'm on Just Eat and stuff like that. And I've tried the whole deleting the apps thing. It might work for some people. It does not work for me because I just go on and re-download them. There was actually an occasion where, to try and stop my binging, I gave all my bank cards to my parents, and I had a certain amount of money in cash per week that was to last me for that full week. So I got around that by ordering takeaways and paying by PayPal. And I actually got my cousin to change my Just Eat password so that I couldn't do that. And that did stop me for a while, but it was just a temporary fix. Yes, I do during the night, and I know it's because I'm hungry and can't sleep, so I need to work on addressing that. But yes, we all know how hard that is. I have safe foods. Now, I don't want to trigger anyone by saying what those are. but they are a small amount of proper food that if I'm really hungry during the night or even during the day, I know I can have one of, and it's not going to be too much to tip me over the edge. The only way that we're going to stop this cycle is by eating enough and regularly, and that is so damn difficult. I don't know why it's so difficult for a grown adult woman, even though I may be dressed like a child today, and yet my 5-year-old nephew can do it and I can't, but that's just how it is. But yeah, that's what I would advise. And if you are somebody who does tend to binge, I guess it's about managing your access to those types of food. But if we're waking up in the night and we can't get back to sleep because of hunger, then we just have to eat, and it's horrible and hard. I try and do that. Can I ask a really silly question? I hope it's not triggering, but do you clean your teeth afterwards? Because I get worried about my teeth. No question in this chat is silly, unless I ask it, because I might throw out something completely inane. I don't brush my teeth straight after eating. I worried if I eat in the night and eat something, I don't know whether I should be cleaning my teeth. Sorry, this sounds so stupid. It's not stupid. I have read up a lot on dental care. Despite my old gnarly yellow teeth that I apparently don't brush, but I do brush them. There is a mouthwash you can get, and it's called Fluorogard by Colgate. I will take a photo and I will put it on the thumbnail for this video so you can see what it looks like. It's about £4 to £5 and it's a high fluoride mouthwash. If you're somebody who binges and purges, I would say it's a good mouthwash to have because it helps to defend your teeth against the acid damage. It's also something you can use if you have eaten in the night. You shouldn't really brush your teeth. I don't want to give anyone a complex by going into too much detail, but you shouldn't brush your teeth straight after eating. You should wait a little bit, and if you're eating and going straight back to bed, then the mouthwash is better than nothing. Depending on what it is you're eating, your teeth will cope. Thank you. I don't BP, but just get paranoid, so tend to just use a basic mouthwash. A basic mouthwash is fine. It'll do the job. But most people go through the day, they maybe brush their teeth in the morning and then in the evening and not during the rest of the day, but they do eat throughout the day. And so I guess overnight it's not that different. I think if you were eating a ton of food every night for a long period of time and not brushing your teeth, it would then have some sort of impact. But I don't think what we're talking about would really have that much of a negative effect on your teeth. However, disclaimer, not a dentist. Sorry, I feel like I've dominated this chat and I'm now really embarrassed. I'm really sorry, everyone. Do not apologise. You don't need to apologise in this chat at all. I'm the one dominating it. I'm the one who's the centre of attention. Jazz hands over here. If other people aren't asking questions or chiming in, then there's no reason you shouldn't. And I will do my best in these groups. They'll probably be quite small, so I should be able to get around to every point or question that is asked during the course of the chat. And I would rather have people saying too much than not saying anything at all, because then I'm just sitting here waffling away or not saying anything, and yeah, that's not what you guys are here for. So yeah, definitely nobody needs to ever think they're asking a silly question. No question is silly. None of us have all the answers or all the information about eating disorders, and I might sound like I know what I'm talking about, but there are plenty of things I don't know, and you know, I might ask questions that I think are silly, but somebody else thinks, actually, I'm glad that person asked that because I was thinking the same thing and I was too scared to ask it. So yeah, don't be scared to ask me anything. If I can't answer it or I don't want to answer it, I'll let you know in a respectful manner. Well, we are at 8 o'clock. Is there anything anyone wants to say before we end this chat, which thankfully did work? Oops, I don't know what I've done here. Okay, well, I want to say a huge thank you for joining me tonight. I'm not sure when the next one will be, but I'll send you guys an email so that you can join it, and I'll make sure that I don't have YouTube on so that it doesn't start out being all crackly and weird. But thank you so much for dropping by and take care. Bye.